Hey guys, welcome to my next video. I'm Coach Becca. Today I'm actually filming from my hometown of Stillman Valley, Illinois. So we've got some great fields as background. And today we're going to be using a set of moderate weights. Moderate can mean anything to you. Today I'll be using 8-pound weights. But again, moderate is going to be something different for everybody. So use what you have with you, use what you have available, listen to your body, all that jazz. We've been using a circle band in the last couple sessions, so we're going to be starting off with that per usual. And today, because I wasn't able to travel with my big kettlebell, I'm going to be using a resistance band with handles, moderate resistance as well. So make sure you have all of those things available. Make adaptations if you need to. This is week 3 of our Strength for Marathoners series. So if you've been following along, we've been doing movements specific for people training for a marathon. Of course, this would still apply to those of you that are active in Ironman training or even 70.3 training, or those of you that are perhaps training for a 5K, 10K half marathon, but specifically preparing you for the demands of a long distance running event. It does require a little bit of specificity, and that's what I've wanted to focus on in this series. On that note, if this is your 3rd week of marathon training, of course, the weekly volume and intensity is starting to stack up, and you're probably feeling that in your legs. So we're going to keep that in mind in this session. You'll notice that I am barefoot today. You could have shoes on. We have been doing some jump training because we're considering the landscape of week 3 of a marathon build. We are going to maybe be a little bit gentler in some of that respect. Personally, I'm training for a marathon and I had a race this week. It's a great time for some of you to be racing. I am a remote coach, and this will go to my remote athletes. And for any of them that are going to be building for a marathon and racing amongst that build, this session will be input for them. So keep all of that in mind in the backdrop of your training. So let's begin as we have been with the resistance band. So go ahead and put the resistance band on. We're going to put the band just around kind of where your compression socks would be, just above the ankles. We're going to do 2 movements. One we've done before, just the classic lateral band walk, and we're going to do this for 60 seconds. You want to keep tension in the band, like we've said before, big step, small step, just to kind of strengthen our weaker muscles in the lateral plane of movement, which we don't get into a lot in running. Here we go, 60 seconds, big step, small step. Notice the knees and the hips are soft. And we've just got nice posture, maybe kind of aware of our core muscles, kind of keeping those tucked in and solid. Big step, small step. Personally, a little bit sore, so it does feel good to do strength training barefoot when I'm feeling a little bit more fatigued and tired. So something about just kind of stretching out the more supportive muscles. I don't know, for me mentally, I do enjoy training barefoot when I can, when I'm really doing a lot of, I guess in running, you're always wearing your tennis shoes and always kind of in something. So it kind of feels nice. If you're joining me today and you're feeling fatigued and sore and a little run down amidst all your run training, know that you're in good spirit, you're in good company today. We'll keep that in mind in our training. All right, 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. That one's not too bad. It's just one of my favorite ways to start a session. We're going to slide the band up now, just below the knees. We're going to have our feet shoulder width apart, and our shoulders, hips, knees, and feet, they're all kind of facing one direction. And everything's, I say that they're stacked, but that just means you're not doing anything funky with anything, okay? And what we're going to do is just cross our hands across our shoulders. And sometimes when I'm feeling really fatigued and I'm worried that because of that fatigue, that extra stiffness and soreness that I'm carrying from either a build week or a race, my form maybe isn't going to be quite as good. So any little form check I can do today, I'm going to be really, really intentional about that, because on top of everything, my muscles are just, they're worn down, right? So you can relate to that. So this trunk squat helps me focus on form. And all we're going to do is a nice banded squat. We're going to do 20 of these, just one set, because later on in our workout, we're going to add weight into these. So this is more of just kind of a snap, crackle, pop, loosen things up sort of situation. So trunk squats, just to help remind us of our posture. Let's do 20 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. You might want to think about lifting or driving the elbows as you go down, because sometimes I see people squat like this, and we don't want this. Okay, so let's do 11 with just kind of, sometimes I used to use that term like proud chest or big chest. Keep that chest up tall, and maybe lifting or driving the elbows can help you remember to do that. Let's go 9, 8, because we do want to strengthen the quads. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great job. Okay, go ahead and step out of the band. We're actually going to be, in the past I've kind of used this just for a warm-up. We'll kind of come back to the band. You can set that aside, because we are going to do, I'll give it away, we're going to be doing some banded squats for form and strength and everything like that later on. I like to utilize the band, on days when I'm sore. It just, sometimes little things can help. Okay, so we're going to grab the resistance band, and we're going to step in with one foot. Way back in some other videos I've done this one. It's a split stanced single arm shoulder press. So it's not super hard, but it's just a nice movement to do, just kind of leaning us, kind of stair stepping out of our warm up. Anything that we do that split position can help with our stability as well. So, okay, so I'm gonna be doing shoulder presses on this side of my body. So if you're facing me and mirroring me, you know, this is my right, but your left. So I'm gonna step in with the same foot, the opposite leg comes forward, and then I just kind of bring the band behind me, and we're gonna be doing shoulder presses from back here. Now, if you don't wanna do that, you know what I mean, the band's just gonna kind of rub across you. So I always kind of position this so that the band isn't, we always wanna avoid chafing when we can as runners, right? So foot steps in, the other foot comes forward, this arm, the band just kind of comes behind us, and it's just gonna sit right behind your shoulder. Okay, and once you get your positioning, just know that the higher up you step on the band, the harder that shoulder press is going to be. And we're going to do 2 sets of 12 per side, and we want the intensity to be moderately challenging, so that those last 4 repetitions are hard, okay? So you can set up your tension, adjust it for the second set. We're just going to go right, left, and you can adjust that tension on the next set. So we're up nice and tall. The handle starts at our shoulder, and we're just going to press straight up, and you'll see that this position allows the band to not rub against the body. Okay, so let's do 12 at a moderate intensity. Single arm, split stance shoulder press with band. 1, 2, 3. That's our tempo. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and we're stinging a little bit here for 12. Great job. Okay, we'll set that up on the other side now. So this is the side I want to work on. I liked that intensity. I'll step forward with the opposite foot, bring that behind me. Okay, start with the handle at my shoulder, and we'll press up for 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's just do one more set of that. I'll face you kind of head on for this next one. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, halfway at 6. And just notice how that arm is going straight up. I can almost touch it to my temple. Bicep to ear is a good cue, just to kind of follow through strong. We'll do 2 more. We'll do 1 more. Nice job. Runners don't use their arms much, it's true, but we're easing the body in for one, and we can't forget completely about our upper body, because those arms are important at the end of your race. So having a strong carriage, strong posture, good arm strength, you will feel that at the end of a marathon, okay? Here we go. Last set of shoulder presses, single arm, split stance. There's 1, 2, nice tall, nice strong posture. 3, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Great job. Okay, we'll step into the band and do a nice, biceps are always a little bit more run specific than maybe a shoulder press would be. Okay, but again, posture is really important for runners. And the reason why biceps are an important muscle group is just because after doing this for, you know, however many hours, especially when your legs get really tired and you need to kind of go to those arms to finish strong, having strong biceps and upper body, that can be quite important in running. So we're going to do one of my favorite upper body drills, a fast to slow bicep curl. And we almost want to feel that kind of drain in the arms that we can get at the end of a race where you're just feeling really heavy, maybe a little bit more on the lactic side, and there's just fatigue, right? And we're kind of thinking about that tempo of when we are swinging the arms, it's maybe a little bit on the faster side. So we're gonna do a slow resistance band curl just to get some fatigue and strengthen the arms. Then we'll do a faster one just to kind of simulate or emulate the feeling that you get when you're running. So we're gonna do 10 moderate curls and then 10 fast curls, 10 moderate, 10 fast, 3 rounds of that, just that kind of contrasting. And then we'll move on to the weight. So it's gonna look like this. The further apart you step, the harder the resistance will be. So we'll start with a little bit more resistance, and when we go to do the fast ones, we'll bring it in. That way we can get full range of motion with control, but we'll be able to kind of pick that tempo up. All right, so our moderate curls for 10, our first set out of 3, we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Adjust that tension so it's a little bit lighter, and we'll go quick for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and space it back out. Round 2, 1, 2, and you'll feel that burn. You'll feel that sting in the arms. That's so familiar. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Step it in and pump those arms for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Definitely feeling that now. Last set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Step it in. Last tempo set for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ouch. Great. Okay, set that aside. We're going to go back to our circle band. We're going to put that band back where we had it, right where we did our warm-up banded squats. And we're just going to add weight to this now. Okay, so we're going to press the weight on our shoulders. We talked about front squats before. We loaded them up a little bit last week. We're adding the band in this week. So we're using moderate weights. I showed you how to do those heavy squats to a chair. Today we're adding the band in just because the legs are maybe a little fatigued. So I'm using them almost as a form situation. Sometimes runners tend to do this, what have you. So when you add that band in, it doesn't automatically fix your form, but it can help provide a little bit of support, like a little bit of a reminder. Sometimes by accentuating the problem, if people tend to do this, by putting the band on, they can kind of fix that situation. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, with our moderate weights, a front squat with the band, we're gonna do 3 sets of 10. So it's not quite as heavy, not quite as loading, not focused necessarily so much on building muscle like we were last week, but we're gonna superset it with another quadricep runner specific strength movement. So it's gonna be a lot of quads back and forth. So it's a little bit better this week that we're not loading, because we're gonna introduce kind of a harder movement. So with that backdrop, just saying, having been said, here's our first set of 10 banded dumbbell front squats. And just like in our warm-up, almost think drive the elbows. Okay, so I'll show you the first set from the side. Here we go. 10, 9, and we're really reaching back and down now. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're gonna put that band on in our rest time after the next movement. Okay, we're gonna step forward with one foot. Back heel is elevated on the back leg. What we're gonna do are 5 split lunges per side. So what you're gonna do is drop down. If you can touch your knee to the ground, great. Get as close as you can. At the very top, we're gonna do a bicep curl, continuing to strengthen those arms, okay? So here we go. This is much harder than a squat would be. It's split, so it's gonna be much harder for balance, a little bit more taxing on some of our joints. And I like it because it emulates kind of a runner's movement. Definitely strengthens runner's muscles. 5 per side, split squat to a bicep curl. Eventually, we'll elevate the back leg too in our later cycles. But here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're gonna switch sides. I'll face you so you can see on this one. What you wanna do is stack your shoulders over your hip, over your bottom knee, like in this position here at the bottom of 1, and just kind of be watching the knee-toe situation here. This foot stays firmly planted on the floor, okay? Here we go, back heel's elevated. Keep the joints stacked. Keep things in line. All right, so there's 1. Those are all your form cues. 2, 3, doesn't feel great when you're super sore, I'll tell you that. 4, and last one, really reach. Good. All right, so that one's tough to do when you're sore, so we don't need a lot of weight for that. Okay, so we're gonna go back and forth between, this is gonna be our second set out of 3. We're only gonna do 2 sets of the split lunges today. That one's a really, really tough movement. Barefoot, you get the benefit in that too, of working that big toe mobility, and a lot of times we can see a lot of stuff happening with that big toe joint for runners. If that felt painful for you, I'll bring that up. It'd be a good one to either elevate the foot if you can, even though that's more advanced, that takes a little pressure off that big toe, or doing it with shoes will help. Okay, here's our second set of weighted, banded front squats. And 10, 9, 8, 7, my dad's goats just came over to have a look at me doing the strength workout. 6, 5, they're very curious. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great job. Okay, now for our second and final set of split lunges to a curl. And I do want you to really push these for depth, for quality, watching all the little form cues since we're doing these. And we're gonna make them harder down the road, but yeah. And if you're sore and tired, they're gonna be a lot harder than if you're not sore and tired. Here we go. 1, 2, they're hard doing squats to split squats too. It's a lot for those quads. Last one. Great job. Other side. 1. Woo. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Great job. Okay, done with those. Thank God. Band goes back on. Last set of squats for today. And then we're moving on. Time to strengthen the back side of the body after this, after doing all this quad work. But late in your race, you will be thankful for it, because God knows we need those quads to be strong. Okay, here we go. Last set. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. Okay, ditch your band. Now, you've got a couple options here. We've been doing heavy kettlebell and sumo type deadlifts, okay? So today what we're going to do is a couple options. If you're still getting the hang of the deadlift movement, you can do a dumbbell deadlift, which, by keeping the hips a little higher than with our kettlebell, we're a little bit lower here, okay? So if you keep the hips a little higher, say here, where the hips line up with the shoulders, just a soft bend in the knee and a primarily hip hinge movement. That's a lot of hamstrings. You could do that today. If you want to try something harder and you really like those split lunges that we just did, you can do a split RDL or a split stiff leg deadlift where you're softening your knee and primarily hinging at your hips, okay? Or if you're somebody that feels good with either of those two movements and you want something that's the hardest today, you can do a single leg RDL, okay? So those are your three options. You're either going to do 10 of the RDLs or 5 per side of the either split stance RDL or full single leg RDL. Just remember that for all of those options, it's going to be just a soft knee and a primarily hip hinge, okay? So we're working on strengthening the hamstrings and glutes. We're working on, in the levels 2 and 3, ankle, knee, and hip stability as well as hip mobility, okay? So those are all the benefits you get there. This will definitely strengthen the back of the body, which is very important for running. And we're gonna do 3 sets of this. So it's gonna take a little bit of time. In between sets of our hamstring work, we're gonna be doing some bent over rows just to help strengthen the back of our body, our posterior chain, and our posture, which is something that we need kind of at the end of a long run when we're just getting ugly, right? So this is gonna be our last set for today, okay? So RDLs of some type, which stands for Romanian deadlift or stiff leg deadlift, very hamstring focused, and bent over rows. Those are our last 2 movements, okay? So here we go, first round of 3. I'll demonstrate level 1 for the first few reps. Here we go. So we'll do 10 total. There's 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you're doing this version or the single leg version, you'll switch legs now, and we'll do the remaining 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'll demonstrate level 2 on round 2 and level 3 on round 3. Okay, now we're gonna do 2 sets of these total, 2 sets of 12 bent over rows. So feet shoulder width apart. You're gonna go basically to the bottom of what we were just doing, the bottom of a stiff leg deadlift. So soft knees, hinge at the hip, so your shoulders are almost in line with your rear end, and you're really gonna push that butt back because we don't want it curved here. We're trying to not do that at the end of our race, right? We want good posture, so push that tush back and pull the weights up to your armpits, okay? So let's do 12 of these. 1, 2, 3, I just keep my eyes neutral on the ground. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Great. Okay, so for round 2, I'll show level 2. You could still do level 2, or you could be doing all level 3 single leg, okay? But here's level 2. Round 2, RDLs. Soft knee, hinge at the hip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch sides for level 2 and 3. Level 1, just keep on trucking. 5, 4, 3. See how much lower we can get with the dumbbells than we did with the kettlebell. 2. One reason why it's not a bad thing to go a little lighter on these. And 1. Okay. Great job. Round 2 of our bent over rows. Last set of these. Pull to the armpits for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate level 3 for round 3. Again, using the lighter weight, we can do things a little bit more advanced. We can also get maybe a little deeper range of motion, and that's maybe a good thing when we're feeling a little sore or a little tired. We've already got a lot of muscular fatigue accumulated. This is our last set of these, okay? Soft knee, hinge at the hip. 1, you don't have to bring that leg all the way down if you don't like to. 2, I mean, you can go all the way through if you'd like for a really run specific movement. 3, 4, it's your workout really, make it however you want. 5, keep going if you're doing level 1, level 2 and 3 switch. This side's a lot tighter for me. There's 5, 4, 3. I do like to use dumbbells too, just to kind of touch the head of the dumbbell to the ground. Last 1, great job. Okay, wonderful work. Weights to the side. Okay, so I'm not going to be doing anything aggressive jumping because I would probably injure myself being 3 days out of a pretty hard race. I also have the benefit of having grass nearby, and I am going to do these barefoot. If you have a mat or if you have shoes on, that's great. But one thing I want to keep pretty intentional about is a way to strengthen our calves is to do those ankle stiffness hops. Those are really good for your strengthening your calves and being a really specific kind of run, kind of light plyometric, really simulates kind of that impact that you get in running. So I'm going to do these barefoot on a soft surface. You could have a mat, you could be doing these with shoes, but we're going to do 2 sets of 10, just regular ankle stiffness hops, and then I'm going to be doing 5 per side, and that's the only jumping I'll be doing today, just because I don't want to get injured after doing a really hard build, really hard run race. So I'm just kind of trying to put this in context for you so you can make your own decisions. Obviously, I'm not there to help you with that. So this will be our only plyometrics of the day. Here we go. Ankle stiffness hops to 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, rest. Great. I'll show the next set from the side. And begin. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Okay, single leg hops. I'm going to try to get to 10 on these. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, didn't feel too bad. Other side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, last round. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great job. Okay, so let's finish out. We've got just enough time for a plank shoulder tap. So just getting a little bit of core stability, just a nice way to end. Core is really important. End of story. I don't need to tell you guys that. So you can do these kneeling, like so, or you can do them full. Do a set of 20. Squeeze the glutes like you got a $100 bill between your glutes. Feet shoulder width apart, hands right under the shoulder, okay? And all we're gonna do is tap a shoulder. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. We'll do one more set of those, and then that's it for today. We are going to be out here again next week, so it's a pretty strong chance we'll be using the same equipment in week 4, but a little bit more recovered in week 4. Won't be coming off of a race, so we'll try to keep things progressive. Bring in some split stance weighted RFEs, if you will, so a little progression from this week. I can give you a little foreshadowing because I already know we're going to be doing those. All right, here we go. Last set. And we're done. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. All right. So unless I can scrounge up more equipment from around my parents' house or get a room at my local gym, plan to do the same stuff in week 4, but again, trying to follow that same basic format of marathon training where we're building up for a week or two, taking a little easy for a week, or racing, and then building back up again weeks 4 and 5. So our strength training is mirroring that a little bit, but we're still, again, keeping this very specific to building strength relative to endurance run racing. So thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you guys next week, and happy running.